This is Deborah Atkinson, and you're listening to the Voice for Fitness Professionals podcast, where I share programming, marketing, and promotion strategies that are easy, enjoyable, even fun, so you can create a business and a life you love. And this is going to be a really fun podcast, at least for me. And hopefully for my guests and for you listeners. But what we're doing today is really a little live coaching, literally. So, I haven't screened this. We don't know each other very well, other than the 5 minutes we've been talking and a couple of emails back and forth. But every once in a while, we just open it up to, if you're out there and you're wondering, how can I make this better? How can I actually market myself and position myself better? This is your opportunity. I offer to coach live on a podcast so that we can all benefit, self-included. So my guest today is personal trainer and health coach, Carrie Leonardini. And I swear I usually ask my guests, how do you pronounce your last name? So I'm hoping I got it right. She will let me know. But I got to tell you, it is the most fun thing to say ever. Fitness has been a part of Carrie's life since she can remember. As she has gotten older, she has delved deeper into learning and growing in the knowledge of what it means to be healthy and fit. And she loves seeing not only the transformation in herself, but in her clients as well. As a personal trainer and health coach, Carrie is passionate about educating and encouraging women to take back their strength, health, and empowerment. She has a whole body approach that encompasses mindset, fitness, and foundational health. She's a mom of two and currently resides in Northern California and is working to reach as many women as she can to help them achieve a life of health, wellness, and vitality. So, Carrie, thanks so much for doing this.
And thank you for having me.
Well, and I just told Carrie, listeners, that I felt like she was being really brave. So not everybody would be willing to come on, and you might be out there right now, this rhetorical question thinking, I don't know if I would do that, right? So everything I say to Carrie is in total respect, and I would never put somebody in a position where it was any other way. But I am also going to, be blunt and be real with what I really think, because the goal here is for her to get off and to have some clear ideas of seeing something from a new perspective, obviously mine. And, she may not want to run with any of those ideas. But if I just say everything she's doing is great, there's no point in having this conversation, right? So we're going to dive in here. So the number one thing, Carrie,
Yes.
So listeners, I'm wondering if you heard this. So could you have said something very similar and inserted, say, she's a mom of how many and currently resides in X and, is working with, there are some distinguishing factors in Carrie's bio. And that's really where I want to start before we even get to Carrie's questions. What I would want for anybody who is going to be introduced, whether you're thinking a virtual stage like this, a podcast, or you're thinking that you're speaking in front of a group, when you hand, here's my bio to introduce me to the MC or the host of the meeting, you want to hope that it does several things. One, you want to hope that you're not wasting any words. So it's short and quick, so nobody starts going to sleep or checking their phone. And that was definitely true about this one. There was nothing too long about it. But you want to also build credibility and authority. You want to also create rapport. So depending on the audience, your intro actually might change. And you want to be thinking about that. It's kind of like your elevator speech. If you work with a variety of people and you're in front of a 65-year-old woman who's more concerned about strength as she ages and osteoporosis, you're going to say something a little bit different than you would to her, than you would to, say, a 25-year-old who was asking you, what do you do? And how do you do that? Your response is not going to be the same if you were standing in an elevator with them. Likewise, before you get introduced. Now, slightly different scenario, given this is an audience you may not be speaking to as much, but what we really want to do is make it so that I'm on the edge of my seat if Carrie's about to come out. And I can't wait to hear because I'm already thinking this is going to be fun, or she's going to really inform me and educate me about some things I don't know something about. Or I'm thinking she's like me. Something she said or was said in that intro made me pay attention, as opposed to tune out. And it makes her distinct. That's what we're after. And I didn't get it. So Carrie, talk to me about that bio. Where'd it come from?
Yeah. I was trying to come up with kind of what I do, where I'm at, to again build that. I was going for connection, but I left a lot out because I feel at times talking about myself, which I usually don't have a problem with. It's when I'm putting it down in words that I tend to have a disconnect. So I definitely know that bio has a lot to it could definitely benefit from a different perspective.
Great. Okay. So can we unpack it a little bit?
Definitely.
Okay, good. So the two things that do some connection are that you stay very clearly, you're a mom of two. So immediately, I think that's a connection, and that you work with women. So, the women in the audience, hopefully that's who you're going to be speaking to. If you were speaking to a group of men, we're in trouble. But,
yes.
you're not going to likely be in that situation. And, if anybody was coming to your website reading something similar, they're going to know, okay, this is really not the place. If I'm a, 35-year-old guy, she's not my trainer potentially. So, those two things are distinguishing features, right? So there are a couple of things in there that are just like wishy-washy. Tell me something about you that is a credibility builder. Like how many years of experience?
So experiences with a certification, 1.5 years. But I've, again, been involved in fitness for probably the last almost 12 years personally. And then also through different group organizations where I've kind of headed the fitness programming.
Okay. So here's what we're going to say. They don't have to know that you've only been certified for 1.5 years. And here's why that's important to me and to everybody listening. But it's not as important to someone who's seeking a personal trainer. Mm-hmm. The personal connection is first. And it's the fourth thing that's important. How much education you have is the fourth thing. Okay. They first have to like you. They have to know that you have a solution to a problem that they are talking about before they ever will ask you, do you have a degree? And nobody is ever going to say, what's your grade point? What was your grade point when you got that? We're like all in square one again after you graduate. It really doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. So you can say, I would say credibility builders for you is you've got 12 years of experience. And you're certified. Are you a certified health coach and a certified personal trainer, or?
Certified personal trainer.
Okay. And how many years have you been health coaching?
For about 6.
Okay. But that is a good thing to add. So if you've all noticed, health coaching is a buzz right now. And it means a little bit more to someone. It's really replaced the word wellness, which is such a soft thing, and the dimensions of wellness and health, super important. But health coach is meaning something because actually doctors are starting to talk about it. Insurance companies are starting to talk about it. So it carries a little bit more weight. And it says that, the 23 hours that you're not with a trainer during the day, they're actually going to be helping you with in a different way. So I would say your biggest credibility things right here are you've got 12 years of experience, you're a certified personal trainer and a health coach. And if you say it that way, it's not meant to be misleading, but, certified personal trainer and a health coach, it's totally honest and someone can dig if they want to really unpack that. But again, they don't. If you've done a good job of connecting with them, they won't. So let's talk about authority. Okay. So authority is, a close cousin to credibility for sure, but have you won any awards? Have you written any articles, been published or written up in the local newspaper, been on the news or on TV? Anything?
No, I've written a blog, or I've written an article that's been published on a women's networking platform.
Okay. Somehow you're going to include that. Okay. Because you've published articles, or you've contributed to, a women's, and then describe that really well. And that, in addition, is outreach. So the other thing is start working on a little bit more of that, right? So, not every blogger. So for instance, I'm asked daily about, I'd love to advertise on your podcast, or I'd love to do a guest blog on your site. And I'm not open to it. Not everybody is. But think about like women's organizations who would be. I mean, fitness is not their thing, but fitness and wellness is an important thing to, any philanthropic organization full of women, or even to a church, women's organization. Like, could you put something on there and be willing to do that, once a month? Okay. And so then you can say you're a contributor, and that's an authority builder. Okay. So somebody else outside or externally is willing to recognize you. That's a great way to put your name out, and it without at all, putting anything but maybe a link to your website, in your bio. I mean, that's all you're wanting in return. Can be a great, just natural, organic source of clients who are looking. So yeah, great way to build. Okay, so build rapport, because this is the one I really want to get to. This one is so much more fun than the other ones. All right, so tell me 3 things that I want to know about you if I want to be your best friend, or I'm deciding if we should be.
I have a quirky sense of humor.
Give me an example.
Oh, Lord. Well, I love to laugh. I love to joke. I snort. So everybody tends to love that. When I laugh, I snort. And I just have a sense of mischief and fun. So that's for me, I just bring that into kind of all aspects of my life, whether that's personal or professional speaking. It's all about, for me, at the end of the day, it's having fun. It's enjoying life and enjoying it with others.
Great. Okay. So what hobbies do you have?
Hobbies would be personal development. I love reading and listening to podcasts to better myself. That's a hobby of mine. Another one is being outdoors. I love taking walks, hiking outdoors. And what is another hobby I have? You know what? I don't know. I really don't delve into too much outside of that. I wouldn't consider hanging out with people a hobby. It's more of a relationship building that I love doing. So I would say that. I mean, I enjoy learning. A hobby for me is just kind of learning new ways of doing things, learning new things. For me, I'm just a lifelong learner. I love to learn about people, what they do for work, why they got into it. So.
Okay, great. So what I want you to do is there's a rule of 3s. And so if you're a comedian, you know about this, and it works really well for introductions too. So you want to, pull 3 things about yourself out. And in a way, what you're doing, you're not just going to tell them you have a quirky sense of humor, but we're going to show them by the 3 things we choose. So, you need to pull this in. She snorts, she doesn't laugh, she's blah, 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 blah. But we want 3 of them. And, what you're going to do is be telling them a lot about you by these 3 things about the personal you, about what makes you tick. So you might somehow say something about, in addition to, she snorts, she doesn't laugh, she's got her nose always stuck in a book, and something about, your interest in relationships and connecting. Like, if you didn't know any better, you might think she was like Snoopy, or something that tells people like she's really interested in you. So you're looking for these three things that are like the very last thing that somebody might say about you when they introduced you, because then they're going to be like, oh, this is going to be fun. And because you already have that sense of humor, because so many things you said, I have a quirky sense of humor. I want it to be fun. I snort. I don't laugh. That's a revealing thing that a lot of people would be self-conscious of. So the fact that you're saying that out loud, super good, right? So that lets people know who you are. And, you've just probably said to a lot of women, this is going to be great. This is going to be fun. So if I'm a little intimidated about exercise, you're going to make me relax because it's going to be, kind of a light and fun kind of thing. If I'm not very outgoing, that's good because I get that you are. You're going to kind of take the ball and I don't have to initiate the conversation. So I think that makes you really relatable to a lot of women, right? Yeah. How about an age demographic? Do you have like a specific age that you work with or prefer to?
Well, from what, when I look at my analytics and so forth from mainly Facebook and see what is resonating, it's usually between 32 and 49.
Okay, great.
But I have clients, mainly, between 34 and 50. And I have a couple that are now in their 60s.
Okay, great. So if you were, and sometimes what is not always what we want to be, which I think we can all agree with. I mean, you may be attracting all of these certain people, but you may be thinking, oh, that is not who I want to be working with. Sometimes marketing is like that too. You go to your Facebook page and look at your insights and realize you are targeting women between 45 and 65, and you're attracting women between 20 and 35. And it's like, uh-oh, something's wrong. No wonder we're not getting any positive traffic from this. So is that who you want to work with? I mean, do you love working with women between 34 and 50?
I have so far enjoyed it with that demographic. There's been a couple situations because it's even honing more in. It's more of mothers, whether empty nesters or children still in the home. So I have found there is some challenges within that demographic.
Okay. So when you think about like the one or two clients that we all have that it's like, I love them. Like I finished the session and, it was great. It was fun. And I look forward to the session. When you think about those couple, I mean, what are some common denominators about those ideal clients or avatars?
One, personality. They are committed. They're dedicated, and their actions show me that they're dedicated, and they show up to work.
Okay. Anything else about like in session, what they're like, how their response is to what you're giving them?
They are receptive. They have a sense of humor.
Okay. What are the things that why are they coming to you?
They're coming to me because they have a pain point that they know I can solve.
What is it? That's what I'm asking.
Oh, yes. So mobility.
Okay.
Weight loss.
Okay.
Pain. And more importantly, most of them are coming for the feeling versus the number on the scale.
Okay, say more about that. How do they want to feel?
So I focus more on this with my clients who tend to want to give me a number on a scale. Mm-hmm. Have them dive deeper in that. That's kind of where the mindset work comes in, of really having them question themselves of why they want this particular number on the scale. What is it about it? Mm-hmm. And so we discuss, what is it going to feel like? Is it really about a number on the scale? Well, what if you have your clothes fit amazing, you feel strong and more confident, but the scale stayed the same? Would you be disappointed? No, I would feel wonderful. So that is what we're going for. And then they come on board with that.
Okay. So how do they feel now?
After training, you mean?
Before. How do they feel before, Carrie?
How they feel before, Carrie? They are feeling frustrated, a little bit on the fearful side, discouraged, and ready. They're ready for change.
Great. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So when you're looking at what's a connecting factor and what's generic in your bio again. So if we go line by line, fitness has been a part of her life since she can remember. Does that bring you closer to your current client or alienate you? If it has to do one or the other, which one is it?
I'll probably say maybe alienate.
I would say so too. So sometimes it's like you don't have to say everything that's on your mind, right? So that there's a lot of truth to that, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's a good thing. However, for the woman who, never felt comfortable in the gym, never got started, and now she is getting started, that might say to her that, you have nothing in common. You don't get it, right? You don't understand me. So I would leave it out for sure. And, it doesn't point to your credibility or authority, right? Just because you or I or anybody else listening looks great in Lululemon in front of a mirror and bears a lot of skin and feels fine with that, that actually alienates us from the people who need us most. So I wouldn't say it out loud, for sure. So as she's gotten older, she delved deeper into learning and growing in the knowledge of what it means to be healthy and fit, and not only the transformation herself, but her clients as well. So, first of all, it made me wonder. So I'm 54, but if a woman 65 is listening, I don't know how old you are, but you have an 8 and a 10-year-old-ish, right? So I'm guessing you're closer to 40 than you are to 50, than you are to 60 or 70. So again, what does that mean, right? So I think it's nice to say you have a different appreciation than for just what the mirror says. But there may be a stronger way for you to say that, because I think that's what you're saying is that, being healthy and fit and the transformation, we can pull something else out that would be a whole lot stronger. Okay. Do you feel like that?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. No, I think this whole bio of mine can definitely have an overhaul for sure.
Okay. So I would pull something out there. And then as a personal trainer and a health coach, and I like that, although this is a place where, as a personal trainer and health coach with 12 years of experience, this might be a place to slide that in, or even say as a certified personal trainer and health coach with over 12 years of experience. So you could pop that in there. Now you've put a lot of credibility in that little space. Carrie's passionate about educating and encouraging women to take back their strength, health, and empowerment. And I think that statement might be a little just overused. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that, if we were going to give you something really strong, I don't think that's it. It's a little bit like when we hear over and over, do you want to take your business to the next level? It's like, what does that mean even, right?
Yes.
We all hear it. We even say it. But, there is no definitive exactly what does that mean. So I think for that line, you also want to look at, what is that? Where did their strength go? If they're taking it back, did it go somewhere? So it's maybe you're looking for tying this whole next sentence in, which is the whole body approach that encompasses mind, body, fitness. Actually, that's more than whole body. It's like a holistic approach, or the trilogy of the mind, the physical fitness, and I don't even know what foundational health means. What is that?
So foundational health to me is, your nutrition, your healthcare, what are you doing for your preventative care? So for me, that's like foundational, your sleep, your nutrition, your healthcare.
Great. Okay.
Foundation.
Gotcha. So I would say that in a way that a lay person, like anybody, would understand that. So maybe that's like your daily habits or your lifestyle habits, and and pull that in. So it's super clear that, as a personal trainer who maybe couples health coaching with every single client, she focuses on the mindset, the physical fitness, and the daily habits that you've got. Yeah, something similar. And I love the part of, a mom of two, and you might even put in there, describing that, like a mom of two, or a mom of an 8 and a 10-year-old. And like if somebody was introducing you this time of year who are looking forward to, like, I don't know what the big gift of the year is, but, something that is funny and makes other moms say, oh yeah, I know, we've been looking for that too and can't find it, but you can make your bio relevant, like to the very audience you're talking to, and to even the time of year that somebody introduces you, so that now it's like, oh God, yeah, I could get on the phone with her and talk to her about this because we're in the same situation.
Okay.
And from their home in Northern California, and I kind of like that too, so especially if you're training locally, that's going to be really important, and you're not doing something digitally or virtually. So super important. And then I would definitely cap it, with a funny piece where, if you're looking for somebody who snorts when she laughs, the second and the third thing, who loves to have her nose in a book, learning about other people, and who is so curious about other people's lives, she's sometimes accused of being snoopy, then you're in the right place. This is, Carrie, da-da-da. So it kind of makes you fun and funny. And because everybody in the audience knows you wrote your own bio, that you're poking fun at yourself. And that is another way to create rapport. So when you and I can laugh at ourselves, it kind of lets everybody laugh at us too. And then we're all having fun.
Okay.
So awesome. Okay, great. Thanks for being open to that. Okay.
I like it. Making notes.
So good. All right. So now I'm going to read, actually, one of your questions was, how do you reach potential clients the best when you work independently and don't have a brick and mortar place to hang your hat? Do you want to add anything to that? Elaborate on that? Whoops. Okay. I think she's coming back. She just faded off. Sorry about that. Okay. So I'm going to keep going and hope that she calls right back in and logs on. But something happened. Somehow she got either bumped off or jumped off. And so Carrie's question was, how do I reach potential clients the best when I work independently? I don't have a brick and mortar place. So great question. And, she also is adding to that. She doesn't do virtual programs. She doesn't do anything that's, digital or online. But here's what I would say to that. My answer is that this is a really huge opportunity, not something that has to hold you back. So the thing we know about consumers today in any industry, shopping for anything, is that everyone is looking online first. So whether you're capitalizing or optimizing your Facebook platform, or you're doing this on your website, and actually you should probably be doing both. You're creating content on your website because people will go to your website first. Even if you're across the street or across town, it doesn't matter if you're doing virtual and you're across the world from somebody, you really need to, optimize your website. So figure out how you create connections there. And then think of your social media sites, the platforms where your customers are on. So with the demographic Carrie's targeting, Facebook definitely is where they're at. And she's back. Hey.
It decided it wanted to kick me off.
Is that what happened? So sorry about that. Oh, no, that is so rude, right?
I know, the technology, doesn't it know how to think for us?
Some does, let me tell you that. So I'm actually answering the question a little bit for you. So number one, just recapping really quickly because the audience heard it, but it's an opportunity. It's not something that's holding it back. And I would let everybody know, no matter what situation you're in, say you're an online business and you're not in a brick and mortar, you're thinking that's a limiting feature, right? It's like, well, how do I reach them? I don't have people walking in the door every day. So be careful how you think about what you're doing, because no matter what, we can think about the limiters, we can think about the advantages. But everyone is looking online first, no matter what. So you really need to get your website in ship shape. And one of the things that makes it attractive to other people, literally attract people who are just searching their little silver boxes, is having content there. Mm-hmm. So whether you're creating videos that answer problems, answer questions, or you're writing blogs, and I will say this, that later I was going to catch you in your words when we were talking about writing your bio. You said writing is not my forte. It's not my strong point. I talk much better, and you do. You're very articulate. So if you're listening and you feel the same way, I don't know how to write blogs or articles. I'm terrible at writing. Do this, talk it. You can record yourself and have somebody else transcribe it. You'll need to go through and correct a few things, because no transcription platform is wonderful at doing it, but they get pretty close. And then you don't really have to write it. You just have to kind of correct the copy, and it's there. So if you feel like I could talk this, then do video, or you could record audio and you can put audio answers. But because video is so powerful, and because we're in a fitness business where we can move, adding movement to a video makes it so much more attractive. It's a natural for trainers to actually pretend you're answering the question of a favorite client and turn the camera on. And if you just talk like you're talking to them, it kind of takes your nerves away. It makes it so much easier to do it. So use whatever you're comfortable with, but get that content on your website and then share it to Facebook. So you're going to upload it there natively or link to it from your website. All of that can help dramatically. And right now, so as we post this, you've got less time, but now, like the next 4 to 6 weeks, if you were launching something or we were looking at the start of a new year, the more you put out there right now, the more someone in your neighborhood or within 10 miles or 20 miles of you, if they open up their computer and they're searching at night for how do I lose weight? Yeah. Who's the best women's personal trainer? If your IP address is within their geographical region, you're going to come up first. And especially if you have a video in a Google search or a YouTube search, you'll come up. So you want that content to be there, because otherwise somebody else will get found. Okay. And that can be a really good source of organic traffic. And I know a lot of people will say, well, organic traffic is dead. You have to pay for it. It's not if it's good. Mm-hmm. It's just the title needs to literally be the question or the response to the question that somebody's going to ask. Like those questions I said, how do I lose weight? Or you might put, how do I lose weight in your town, literally. So you can help yourself get found even more. And best personal trainer in, and add your town, or best women's health coach in, and add your location. And those kinds of things will help you get found. SEO is not dead. You just have to tap into it. So those are big ones. And then knowing those problems that you overcome for your clients that a brick and mortar business can't. So think about why, if, on most blocks or in most towns, even small ones, there's a gym, there's a fitness center. Why aren't women who might find you going to it? What would the reasons be they'd give?
Why they're not going to the gym or that gym? Yeah. The size. They're overwhelmed by the size. They don't like to be inside gyms. They don't want to work out with men. They don't care for the class times or the classes.
Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. So you would elaborate on those.
Okay.
I mean, you can pick it out and you can kind of push and pull the content so that if you are writing a blog or creating a video and hopefully doing, both, that you can kind of go forward and back on that. Like 5 reasons exercise at home, is better, or 5 reasons not to go to the gym, so you can do that because they're already thinking it. And then you can write with, 5 advantages of exercise at home. Right. Mm-hmm. And so it's the same content, but you're kind of like doing it from the positive side, doing it from the negative side. Yeah. Because half of your people will search one way and the other half will go the other way. But either way, they're going to find you. So, and tackle those things because they don't like the smelly, sweaty stuff. Yeah. It's cold and flu season. They don't want to be exposed to the germs. They know it's going to be jam-packed in January with people who are like big meatheads and gung-ho at it, and they're intimidated. They think everybody inside is already fit, right? Yes. A lot of people getting started think, well, when I get in shape, then I'm going to join the gym, right? I was like, what? What was that?
Yeah.
So great. So first of all, I think the biggest thing in answer to that question was, don't think that you're at a disadvantage. You're actually not at all. And because you're a small business owner, it's you get to call the shots. Nobody is going to need to approve the content that you decide to write. And so you have a lot less obstacles than someone who's like in a huge business for sure, or even a franchise. You have nobody's permission to get. You decide you want to write 5 blogs, you can write them today and post them. And you're done. So you have speed on your side. So keep reminding yourself there are so many advantages that you have that someone in a brick and mortar may not have. Okay. Great. And then go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, no, that's very true. Because again, when you're brick and mortar too, if you're not the owner of it, you have to answer to others.
Yes, exactly. Perfect. Okay. Your second question, really close, in your experience, asking me what's been your best avenue to generate clients: video, blog, in-person networking, podcasting, and where should somebody who's only a year or 2 into their business start? Great question. Really great question. So number 1 is their very best and the very fastest is get in front of people. So if you can speak to a group of people, so you're kind of doing one-to-many, getting your message out to a lot of people, it does so many things. It's back to credibility. First of all, if you're in the front of the room, somebody asks you to speak, that's like 2 points of credibility right there. Whoever the meeting planner was got you in front of them. That says, okay, I'm here in this room, so I think something of that person. And, you're talking to them. So that's just a credibility earner because a lot of people would rather be dead than speaking. So, and it still counts if you're doing it on video. Okay. So virtually, there is nothing that replaces getting invited to speak to different groups. So if you haven't put the feelers out there or let people know, hey, if you're looking for somebody, like right now is perfect for your January or your February meetings, talking about goal setting, talking about, how 5 ways to be more productive at work in this new year and how to, whatever. Goal setting is a big one. You can talk around a lot, and that may go with a lot of people. But ask, again, back to the church groups or women's, philanthropic groups, charity groups, organizations, hospital, administrators, ask if anyone, do you have an interest for a speaker? Do it for free, because it's like, for you, it's really better than paying for advertising, but nothing is better than this. And the more you do it, the more experience you're going to get. And it may not be somebody in the audience, but it may be somebody in the audience knows who would take you up on, your services. And all you have to do is maybe hand out a survey at the end that you're going to ask them, how did I do? What was the most important point that you took away? And would you like me to call you for a consultation? and you put that in there and let them check the box. So you get it back and basically you've been invited, and they may not check it, and that's fine, but you know who is. So that's probably one of the first things. And the second thing is this: ask. So if anybody listening wants to change their business for the better in this coming year, and they want to start like today, ask somebody new every single day to become a client. Just one person. And every single day, somebody is not necessarily going to say yes. And sometimes you're going to end up booking them for, let's do coffee, let's have lunch, let's do a quick consultation because I want to share some things with you. I know I can help you. And that's where you're starting, is like your immediate acquaintances and friends, or just outside of that circle. I know that I can help you. You want to be thinking that, I see them all the time. I know that they're struggling, and I know that I could help them. Sit down and actually think about how and what your game plan would be in helping them. Mistakes maybe that you see somebody making in a club, and just call them up and say, I've been thinking about you. I know that this is on your radar, and I think I have some ways that I can help you. Would you be interested in sitting down and talking about it? And ideally get face to face. And then literally you're sharing it just like you would with a friend, and here's what I've noticed, here's what I think would be much more effective in the path I would like to go down. What do you think about that? Are you interested in some help? And would you like that help to come from me? And you're pausing each time, of course, to get their answer. But that's a pretty comfortable situation. It's not hard, hit them on the head, sleazy, sale. But, a lot of people who would even take the meeting with you are going to be very likely candidates to say yes. And that's 365, reaches out from you. But the more people you begin to help, the more people you'll know to reach out to. And those actions will begin to come back to you after a couple of months. People who didn't say yes at first, just said, I'm not ready yet, or, have to think about it, or maybe the finances weren't there, potentially will start coming back to you.
It's like planting those seeds again and being there to show up to serve and help. And in due time, it all comes back.
Yes. And a lot of times, because you've actually come from the heart in doing that, they too, it may not be them. Maybe they don't say yes, but maybe they know someone. Because, are we ever anywhere where we don't overhear somebody talking about exercise? Right?
Exactly.
And so they know somebody who's going to bring it up and who's saying, I want to lose weight, or I need to get started, or I need to this and I need that. And they're going to say, you know what? I just talked to somebody. You might be interested. And so it is kind of letting other soldiers go out there and do your task for you. So whether you pick up the phone, you call somebody, you actually see somebody and you approach them, you have to ask every day. And that is the one biggest game changer in your entire business. I guarantee you. Okay. So the third question, and then we'll be wrapping it up, but knowing what to focus on each day in your business that moves the needle forward, so that over time you have the domino effect from your consistent habits. It's kind of funny that I think we just tied that into the last answer.
We did.
Right? A little bit. It is what would be the biggest needle mover. And for most of us, so that you can get comfortable enough in your day-to-day business, that you're full enough, you have enough income coming in on a regular basis, so that maybe you can decide what's my next step, and you work on something that maybe is more passive in income. That, I think, is ultimately the place where most of us want to get to, where we're flexible. We have, the love of doing what we do is there, but it's also that we've got the flexibility and the freedom to do it, or not have to necessarily meet face to face to earn $1 today. So it's that biggest needle mover. It's, where's your time best spent? If you're not comfortable enough right now with how much revenue you have coming in on a regular basis, it's what we just talked about. It's asking every single day someone else to become your client.
Okay.
And potentially you have two skills, and so anybody listening who doesn't, you're maybe your only personal training right now. And yet, it's the 23 and a half hours a day. You don't see a client that you have to worry about the most.
Mm-hmm.
Adding to what you're doing, health coaching. So you're working on, so I see you today on Monday. Will I see you again, on Friday? What are you going to do between then and helping them decide what are the activities that they really need to focus on between not just the exercise, but maybe it's going to bed earlier. So they have the right fuel and the right things there and the right hormone balance.
Mm-hmm.
So figuring out, how can you charge more because you're adding more value? Because that health coach piece is definitely that. You can charge more because you're doing both. And, so thinking about, what are the ways that you can do it? And then what's next? Is there something else that you could do for somebody? Create a short mini course, for when somebody asks you, do you have stretches that I can do at home? Well, I actually here, I have this 5-set yoga practice, and they're each just 10 or 15 minutes long. And it's a really short course, and you can purchase that for, $25. That's $25 for every single client that you're working with, $25 more, right? So just you're looking for little ways to upsell, to add on, to simply support what they're doing anyway and what they want by giving them exactly what they're asking for. So you might create little things like that are this is going to take your time one time, maybe for an hour to pull that up. And then you can actually just simply, once they buy it, you email it to them and you email the links to these private videos that nobody else has access to but them. So it's looking for what's the next piece that you can do and give them, but get comfortable first so you're not in panic mode while you're doing that.
Yeah. I think that the programming is next for me for sure, because I feel building this, and then after everything that I already have, all the content that maybe I haven't posted, but I have from workout programs I've put together, videos that I've done. There's so much that can be, shaved down, repurposed and put together that potentially could be, a mini course right there.
So brilliant. Yeah. And that word you said, so pointing it out to everybody listening, repurposing things you have already done, and if you've got all these client programming profiles and you remember this is where that client was, this is where she is now, and putting that out, that now becomes a program. So awesome. Okay. So Carrie, we're about to wrap up.
Okay.
What would be, if somebody's listening thinking, gosh, she's in, so close to the right situation, the same one that I'm in, so that they can connect with you or watch over your shoulder and see where you are and what you're doing, where's the best place for them to connect with you?
I would say definitely on Facebook, on my business Facebook page.
Great. What is that?
And that is under Essentially Empowered Fitness. And you can find it at facebook.com/takeyoursheback.
Take Your She Back. Yes. Awesome. So listeners, if you're walking, you're running, lifting weights, you're commuting, I got you covered. That link will be live in the show notes today. And if there's a question that you wish I would have asked Carrie or that you have, connect with me. You can go to fitnessmarketingmastering.com/Carrie. And I'd appreciate it if you'd leave us a rating in iTunes. It really helps. And then here's what we're going to do. Hopefully, Carrie will come back and check back in with, what changes she has made, where she's, implemented some of the things that I've talked about and how much they've helped, or where she might be next, ready to take another step. So again, check out the blog and the other podcast episodes and leave us a comment at fitnessmarketingmastery.com/Carrie, Carrie.